So many people know about this Executive Order 13818, Executive Order blocking the property of persons involved in serious human rights abuse or corruption. What's included in this is the Magnitsky Act. Let me show you. December 21st, 2017, U.S. President Donald Trump issued Executive Order 13818, the first implementation of the Global Magnitsky Human Rights Accountability Act, under which the U.S. government imposed sanctions against 13 individuals described as human rights abusers, kleptocrats, and corrupt actors. The decision was announced by the U.S. Secretary of Treasury, Steven Mnuchin. President Trump said that he was declaring a national emergency with respect to serious human rights abuse and corruption around the world. The sanctioned individuals, and you can see, I'm not going to go through all of them, but it didn't stop here. This is part of Trump's order. I therefore determined that serious human rights abuse and corruption around the world constitute an unusual and extraordinary threat to national security, foreign policy, and economy of the United States, and I hereby declare a national emergency to deal with the threat. So a lot of people had, because this is still in place, but this Magnitsky Act was put into law in 2016. I think it was actually put into law. It's been around before then. So it's still around today. This is from 2020, but it's still around today. And this is actually from the Federal Registry. In 2020, the United States took significant action under the Global Magnitsky Sanctions Program. As of December 10th, 2020, the United States has designated 243 foreign persons, individuals, and entities pursuant to the Executive Order 13818, which targets serious human rights abusers, corrupt actors, and their enablers, represents the best of the United States values by taking impactful steps to protect and promote human rights and combat corruption around the world. So the fact checkers decided to do some fact check on this because people several years ago came out and said, oh, he has sanctions. Which basically what this does is it freezes assets to anybody involved in any kind of human rights. Now, when you think of human rights, just think of how many people were forced to get an injection to keep their job. That's a human rights violation, no matter how much health and science want to say otherwise. It is. It's a violation of human rights. Now, are they a government entity? Oh, well, that could be argued, I think. Just my opinion. I'm not a lawyer. But the very fact that they get government funding, the hospitals, they do. They get money from Medicare, so they have a connection. I'm saying that because of this. The fact checkers are such, they pull you in by putting this word up, false, but you have to read the whole fact check to find out that, well, they're not exact. They're just saying that the headline that grabbed you, let me show you, that's false. So this was from Snopes or whatever, one of them. They're all the same. It doesn't matter which one, okay? December 2017, President Donald Trump signed Executive Order 13818, blocking the property of persons involved in serious human rights. Okay, and you can see up above it says the U.S. Treasury to freeze assets of two former families, the Obamas and Clintons. Okay, so they automatically say false. So most people are going to go to the site and see, oh, it's false. The fact checkers say so. Well, that's just kind of stupid just to think that they're telling you the truth. You got to read further on. So this was part of what the fact checkers were fact checking. Okay, so under the inaccurate and grossly misleading clickbait headline, quote, Trump signs executive order to seize assets of Clinton and Obama, end quote, with an opening sentence declaring that President Donald Trump has signed an executive order allowing federal agents to seize the assets of Hillary Clinton and Barack Obama. Well, first of all, let's face it, okay, Barack Obama wasn't born in this country. He registered as a foreign exchange student. I wonder why the fact checkers can't fact check that. Nothing in the Executive Order 13818 specifically authorized the U.S. government to seize any assets belonging to former President Obama or Clinton. First of all, Clinton wasn't a president. I mean, well, I guess if it's Bill Clinton, but I think it was referring to Hillary Clinton. Anyway, nor did the text of the Your Newswire article provide information supporting the premise of it. I have some of it cut off here, but it doesn't matter about the top. It says here, the order does not generally allow the U.S. Treasury to freeze the assets, does not generally allow the U.S. Treasury to freeze the assets of any person who has materially assisted foreign persons in the conduction of human rights abuses or government corruption. In an extremely vague and broad sense, those provisions could conceivably apply to the Clintons and Obamas or anyone else in the world. Nonetheless, the order doesn't mention any Obama or Clinton. No, it doesn't. It doesn't. But this, again, the fact checkers, this shows what trash they are, okay? Because they pull you in with, nope, we've already determined false, and most people, that's as far as they'll read. But even they say themselves, it's an extremely vague and broad sense. Those provisions could apply to Obama and Clinton. Because basically, it's saying that anybody that's connected to any human rights abuses, can you imagine the amount of people that have been involved with the science worldwide and here? It's unbelievable, the amount. So it's not false. I mean, is that article they're strictly talking about the headline? Sure. But the headline isn't exactly false either. Because if the Obama, and I think Obama would be involved in human rights abuses just for the mere fact that, well, he lied to the American people. I guess you couldn't say that's a human rights abuse, but everything he did was to hurt the country. So that's just treasonous all in itself, okay? But the fact checkers are never going to want to look at the foreign exchange registry. Anyway, but with Clinton, well, she has been tied to all of this. The Clintons have. Okay? They have. So, in all actuality, it very well could be true. Would the news media tell you that? Of course not. Of course not. They will protect the most grotesque people. So will the fact checkers. You can go and look on the federalregistry.com. This is just some of the people, and they're all, this is each year since 2017, 2018, the people they've listed. So some of these, like Wilson Musin, was designated on August 17th, 2020 for his involvement in corruption in Uganda. Participated in a scheme where, in certain instances, young children were removed from Uganda families under promises for special education. Sounds like here. And then you see down here, Dora Marembe was designated on the same date, her role in providing support to corruption. A Uganda lawyer participated in a scheme whereby, in certain instances, young children were removed from Uganda families under the promises for special education. So it lists all these people for every year since 2017. Here's more. I'm not sure what year this was, but you can go and find it. But you can see Andriy Portnov was designated on December 9th, 2021 for being a foreign person who is a current or former governmental official or a person acting for or on behalf of such an official who is responsible or complicit in or has directly or indirectly engaged in corruption, including the misappropriation of state assets, you can see private assets, personal gain, all of that. It goes into everything of corruption. And there are so many people in this country. This is why I don't understand why the professional organizations stay on the track that they're on. I don't. Because they pushed this mandatory masking, mandatory vaccines, many of the hospitals did. all human rights violations. So to think this isn't going to apply here is ludicrous.